have a class. We're going to focus a little bit on pronunciation. And we have an article to read. Okay, done. So what do you see in this? What do you see here? On this article, it says, under the Australian sun. Is it hot? I think I had asked you these questions some days ago. But I think it is really hot, right? Right now. ¿Han estado sintiendo mucho calor estos días?
A little, teacher, in my place.
Yeah.
Today, out, outside? No. Afuera,
Today
¿cómo le
what?
digo? Yeah,
Outside.
outside. 2 hours. 2 hours. And it was very hot in Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua.
Okay, yeah. I've heard that it's hot in there.
It's the first day hot. Yesterday, yesterday hacía calor, hacía frío.
Yesterday it was cold.
Yes. Until cool. Todavía hacía frío. No sé cómo se dice hacía.
It was.
Was.
It was.
It was cool.
It was cold.
Cool. Yes.
Sí, no decimos hacer, sino decimos que estaba o era. It was.
It was.
Okay, very well. And Gabriel, is it hot where you live?
A little bit.
A little bit. Yeah. Well, some people don't really like this weather. You know, I have some friends that they say, I prefer this hot weather than the winter in my country. So I think you really need to have like an attitude to enjoy it. But look at this. There is a country where it's 70, I mean, there's a place that is 70 degrees Celsius. Bueno, es lo que dice, a ver si no es clickbait. So it's 70 Celsius in this place. So let's watch this video and find out.
Hello everyone, Ruhi Chenet here. We set out towards the hottest spot on the planet, the Lut Desert, which is mostly inaccessible due to scorching temperatures beyond human endurance and the lack of resources like water. NASA's medium-resolution imaging spectroradiometer installed on the Aqua satellite recorded that the world's hottest land surface was in the Lut Desert, where temperatures reached 70.7 degrees Celsius.
70.7 Celsius. Can you imagine that? I think you can go outside and boil.
Or 159.3 degrees Fahrenheit in 2005. Located in the southeast of Iran, the distance from the northernmost tip to the southernmost tip of the Lut Desert is considered 480 kilometers, and its distance from the westernmost tip to the easternmost tip is considered 320 kilometers. This vast salt desert contains many mysterious spots, like Gondombaryan, the hottest point on the planet, where 70.7 degrees Celsius is measured from space. A vast plateau covered with dark volcanic rocks that are claimed to have no life on its surface. NASA has measured surface temperatures there for several years and has repeatedly seen record numbers. In this hell where the planet is cooked by the sun, we will shoot images that we have never seen before. Our first stop is Shahdat, the last town on our way, built in an oasis in the west of the desert. Here life is normal thanks to the high altitude. Now the temperature is about 37 degrees Celsius here. Now we have
37 there. Well, I think it's a dry heat because there are no rivers, so there is no sea nearby. No hay ni ríos ni fuentes de agua realmente que pudieran hacer el clima húmedo, entonces es un calor seco, right? It's going to be, I think it's going to be really interesting to see. But you see this town is an oasis and it's high, es todavía alto, entonces no está tan caluroso.
have hundreds of kilometers to go and the temperatures will get even higher. Before entering the desert, we see the hundreds of years old Shafi Abad Caravanserai, which is now in ruins.
In desert, while the weather is so hot, we find some water and put our scarf or shamak in the water. National air condition. And put it on our head to reduce the temperature. So
Okay, to put these water compresses on your head to reduce the temperature. That's a recommendation. They actually said that's why people in these parts of the world, they are all covering clothes because, well, you would say, o sea, si hace calor, me voy a quitar la ropa, ¿no? No me voy a cubrir todo. But what they do is but they don't need the the sunscreen, no necesitan el bloqueador si tienen ropa que les cubra, right? And the other thing is that they say that also when you sweat, because you will sweat in those conditions, sweat is sudar. Entonces, claro que en esas condiciones vas a sudar. And they say that in those conditions you will sweat, but also the sweat will refresh you, porque el punto de sudar y que al estar húmedos, pues nos refresquemos cuando corra un poco de viento. No? So I think that's the point that they are covering these long clothes.
we need to record the track of going to the desert. There is a backup company which is following our GPS and our track, and if something happened to us, they immediately come to us.
The Lut Desert is also recognized as one of the driest regions in the world. It usually receives less than 30 millimeters of precipitation per year, and this small amount of rainwater flows down the surrounding mountains for a short time and evaporates quickly. There are many salty lakes that have dried up in the scorching heat. Unfortunately, some migratory birds cannot find any shade they can take shelter in when they fly in this geography, and they make a mistake. They come to these salty lakes and drink salty water without knowing, and they pay for this mistake with their lives.
This shows that nature has no joke and has no pity. I don't know what kind of bird this is. Beyond recognizable. Let's go.
In order to move forward in the desert, we lower the pressure of the tires of the cars. They shouldn't burst under rough terrain conditions. We're just at the beginning of the road. Let's measure the soil temperature here. 63.7 degrees Celsius, 146.6 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what will happen in a few hundred kilometers. You see now that the shadow is 45 degrees Celsius or 113 degrees Fahrenheit. We're still...
Okay, so it's 45 degrees. I don't know if I ever been this hot in my life. But 45 degrees is
early in the day.
a la sombra, dice 45 grados a la sombra.
I keep the phone cooler like this, with this ice like this. If it is got hot, it doesn't work.
After a difficult 2-hour journey into the heart of the desert, we finally approached the central point. This place has one of the lowest altitudes in the Lut Desert and is the second hottest spot. After this point, if we are going to stay outside for more than 2 minutes, no part of our body should be exposed, including our hands. The first thing we did as soon as we got out of the vehicle at around 12 o'clock was to measure the temperature of the ground. Our infrared thermometer showed 66.9 degrees Celsius, 66.3 degrees Celsius, 68.2 degrees Celsius. After only 2 minutes of laser thermometer measurement, the device gives an error due to high temperature. Our immersion thermometer, on the other hand, shows 69.6 degrees Celsius. Our guide worried that we might get stuck in the sand and quickly got out of the vehicle.
I'm gonna pass these dunes and then I pick you up there because the car should be lighter.
As we move towards the center of the desert, the conditions are getting tougher. There are clouds out there which we have not seen anywhere before.
We need to be very careful near the sand dunes because we got stuck immediately. Should be very careful and drive very good.
It's very hard to breathe here. I'm actually very thirsty. As you see the red line of the thermometer stuck to the top, it's not moving, can't measure. It shows that it exceeds 50 degrees Celsius or 122 degrees Fahrenheit. We also have a laser thermometer here. This no longer works at all, giving an error message. This is an immersion thermometer. There is a temperature of 52 degrees Celsius or 125.5 degrees Fahrenheit here. Our guide says we will go further, but even this geography does not allow us to breathe.
Mine is so hot you cannot breathe.
After opening the window, it is like hair dryer machine. It's really unbelievable.
The floor is like a pan on a stove. The ambience is like an oven.
We are pushing the boundaries here. I was thinking that I would be relaxed when I open the window, but it is worse.
It's like the hot air squeezing our throats. Air temperature and surface temperature are different concepts. While the surface temperature indicates the values for the sand absorbing the sun, the air temperature indicates the values in the air at least 1.5 meters above the sand. Usually the surface temperature is higher than the air temperature.
Hacı Baysa. Evet.
Because of this rock.
Hey, look, my shoe is melted. My feet feel like burning.
We're not in the hottest place yet. Our friend's shoe just melted because of stepping
The shoes are melting, guys. Los zapatos se les derriten.
on the ground. This layer has slipped. The ground is about 70 degrees Celsius or 158 degrees Fahrenheit.
When we are not filming, we protect our cameras from high temperatures in the refrigerators where we store our water. Otherwise, they are constantly turning off.
It's there.
Our phones also became unusable from time to time.
My phone doesn't work.
Even though I constantly refill the 2-liter water bag I carry on my back all the time and drink water again and again, I can't stop my thirst.
It is now 2:15 p.m. We are walking towards endless desert. Let's see how far we can walk.
The near west of the desert is a low altitude region with an altitude of up to 150 meters and is exposed to the strong winds. Wind erosions form colute structures which are up to 150 meters high and can be seen in rows for tens of kilometers. The region is also home to yardanks up to 75 meters high, parallel ridges and other geoclimatic formations. Although the wind is strong here, the sand is almost scorching.
I have a hard time even standing up like this because the heat from the ground is burning my feet. Even though I'm wearing high-heeled sneakers, I can feel the warmth. Temperature measurements are made in shaded areas by weather stations. There's no working weather station here. We will also provide some shadow here.
In the shade near Kaluz, where there are fast blowing winds, we couldn't see the 52 degrees Celsius we saw under the sun 1 hour ago.
You see that the temperature is now 47.3 degrees Celsius, 117 degrees Fahrenheit.
But innocent winds can turn into sandstorms later in the day. Winds also make our lips chapped and increase our thirst. The sun rays reflected back from the sand make it difficult for us to see.
That's worse. I feel like I'm blind. There's so much light. Glasses are a very serious need. It is really impossible to see around without them. It also protects against sandstorms from the sides. But this is not the hottest spot. We haven't reached the hottest point yet. I think the temperatures are 5 to 6 degrees Celsius higher there.
After 50 degrees Celsius, it becomes more difficult to withstand with each increasing degree. It becomes impossible to hold metal objects and also some objects may melt. The effect of a temperature increase from 50 to 51 degrees Celsius is very different from 30 to 31 degrees Celsius. It pushes the limits of endurance. As the hours progress, the wind intensity increases. These are signs of a nighttime sandstorm. After landscape darkens under the red clouds, a sound like the roar of the sea reaches everywhere. You lie on the ground, motionless, in despair. This could be a sandstorm. We can finally breathe a little in the coolness of the shade.
Now we are going to get our food heated by the sand.
The temperature of 70 degrees Celsius coming from the ground makes our meal ready.
Let's reduce the temperature of your body.
Here you go. We're resting in the shade. It is around 3:30 p.m. It's like sun is absorbing all of our energy. We're eating a local Iranian dish called hurma sebze. I'm stepping on a ground that perhaps humankind has never stepped on before. It's an interesting feeling. These depths of the desert are not visited much. We're near the Kalut. You're seeing the walls of the Kalut. It is quite hard and it's a big chunk. Now we are trying to return to camping site and we are very thirsty. The water is gone. The tracks started to disappear. I cannot remember where this place is. We've been walking for about 3 hours. The sun has come down quite a bit. The temperature began to lose its effect a little. I think it is around 45 degrees Celsius or 113 degrees Fahrenheit now.
A desert is an endless road. Everywhere you look, there are thousands of roads covered with sand. But for those who do not know the direction, there is only one destiny. Here, some migratory birds enter the desert. They can't get out of the desert because of the intense heat. And by falling from the sky, they contribute to the ecological balance, which includes grasshoppers and desert foxes. Finally, we returned and set off on a quick quest northward to camp somewhere sheltered from the night storm. In Gondombaryan, the hottest region we will reach tomorrow at noon.
This tree is the Nepka tree. As you can see, there is a lot of sand under it because there are many sandstorms here and the tree collects the sands at its root. They're kind of growing together.
Small ones of Nepka trees. Sources that no living thing can live on this place. It is estimated that these basalt remnants were formed as a result of magnetic activity that took place about 2 million years ago. And pores were formed in the stones as a result of gas release in the lava.
We're about to unofficially measure one of the highest temperatures ever measured on Earth. Leaving a person alone here means his or her death. If our friends leave us, there's no way we can get out of here.
We are in a place that is completely contrary to human nature. There are many articles that say that no creature lives in Gondombaryan.
We are in the hottest place on Earth right now, during the hottest period of the season and the hottest hour of the day. I have to utilize my water very carefully. Now I will measure the temperature at a height of 1 meter from the ground, and this measurement has to be done in the shade. That's why we carry an umbrella with us. This is not for ourselves. There is wind here, but just because it's windy doesn't mean it's cool at all, since the wind blows like fire. I can feel the scorching heat all over my body right now.
My hand is burning. The camera is black, you know.
Every metal place we touch is like it's on fire. There's a reason this umbrella isn't black. I want this measurement to be fair. My feet are like on fire, really. When you stand in a place and wait a little, the feeling of warmth increases. First, let's measure the temperature on the ground. It gives an error. Yes, it can measure the temperature, but it cannot be under the heat. We're going to keep the thermometer next to cold water, cool it down a bit, and try again. I tried to provide the shade for about a minute to make a fair measure. I can't even speak. This isn't working anyway. It doesn't show anything. It says iPhone needs to cool down before you can use it. Now we're going to measure the temperature under the sun. Because we don't have any shade here, that's the temperature we feel, nowhere to hide. The sun mercilessly sears where it beams. I have trouble speaking and I have a terrible headache here. It shows the air temperature 54.1 degrees Celsius or 129.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's measure the surface temperature with this. Guys, it is 30 minutes in. We're fine.
Roger that.
Is everything okay there?
Everything is okay here, but the temperature is still getting high and high.
I can feel the intensity of the sun above me in all its fury. I can feel my heart rate increasing.
I'm shaking. So bright without glasses. I can never walk like this. I am going to try something different now. Error, it says error. When I put it inside, it says error. Oh my god. Oof. I have to put on my gloves. It's working, come here. 68.6 degrees Celsius, 69.2 degrees Celsius. We're getting pretty close to what NASA had measured. Is this a sandstorm? There are very frequent storms here.
Guys, here, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, you're fine, no problem.
There was a sandstorm just around here. We were filming it. I couldn't reply to you.
Remember that you are the only person who gets the are in this season, in this time, in this day.
Now let's take a look at the temperature of this.
5 degrees Celsius or 119.
This side is burnt so hot it's like I'm taking it out of the pan. It also smells like it's cooked. The middle needs to stay a little longer. This is how much it can get cooked in 2 hours. This is a surprise for you?
Yes, I'm surprised.
So we are debunking a myth then. Animals actually do live in Gambia.
Our desert expedition shows that melting car videos circulating on the internet during summer are also fictional. Even here, car parts cannot melt in a day, they may melt only in a week.
So the first minute, because the wheel is so hot, as you see, my hand is burned. I brought some gloves here to touch the steering wheel for first 5 minutes. We will go out of here as soon as possible.
And we
All right, what do you think? Isn't it very interesting how hot it can be? I think it's crazy. So now we're going to read the article that is related. Well, it's not as hot, but still very hot. So it says, under the Australian sun, we're going to focus a little bit on pronunciation. Please, Fernanda, can you help me read the first paragraph? Vamos a leer el primer párrafo.
As Australia is one of the sunniest countries of the planet, and sun is an important part of Australia's traditional outdoor lifestyle,
Barbecues.
barbecues are held in sunny backyards 12 months a year. People spend days on and surfing at beautiful Golden Beach. 1 in 4 homes has a swimming pool in the yard. You don't believe me? Look out the airplane window when you land at Sydney Airport, but there's more there's more to some fun.
1 in 4 homes has a swimming pool in the yard. Wow. I think that's what we all need, right? We all need a swimming pool in the yard. Donde estamos nuestra piscinita, nuestra alberquita, en la alberca, perdón, en el patio. Okay, so let's check. We're going to check the pronunciation. So the country is pronounced Australia, no tanto como au, sino como una o. Australia. Okay, it's one of the sunniest countries on the planet. And it says barbecues are held in sunny backyards. Se hacen, ¿alguien sabe qué significa barbecue en inglés?
Carnita asada.
Carnita asada, exactly. Hacen carnitas asadas los 12 meses del año. Okay. So do you see any passive voice sentences here? ¿Se está usando aquí de alguna forma la voz pasiva? What do you think? Do you see anything? ¿Hay voz pasiva en este párrafo que leímos? What do you think, guys?
¿Podríamos decir que la oración de barbecues es voz pasiva?
Ujú. Exacto, aquí tenemos barbecues are held. When you see the verb hold, okay, hold significa usualmente mantener, pero también significa realizar algún evento, right? For example, you can say the Olympic Games will be held in Mexico. Los Juegos Olímpicos se llevarán a cabo en México. So you say that you use the verb hold, or you can say, my company will hold We could say, I don't know, a Christmas party. Okay, entonces hold es como organizar, right? So it says barbecues are held, como que se realizan carnita asada, yeah, in a sunny day. Okay. Okay, what else do we know about the sun in Australia? Please, Oscar, can you read the next paragraph?
Okay. Australia gets more than 3,500 hours of sunlight a year. That's 10 years a day, 10 hours a day. And solar energy is big business. Australia has invested enormously in solar energy. Solar panels provide energy to houses, schools, business, and factories all over the country. They have reduced the country's energy bills and have very positive environmental impact.
Okay, very well. So, let's see. Do we have any passive voice sentences in here? ¿Tenemos algo en voz pasiva?
Has invested enormously in solar energy.
Exactly. Ajá. Has invested? No, eso es, el presente perfecto. Okay, I don't think we have any. Okay, you remember, for example, when we have the word business, in singular decimos business, pero en plural sería businesses. Businesses. All right. Yes. And let's read the last paragraph. Please, Gabriel, can you read us the last paragraph? Or Javier, please, could you?
Yes, sir. However, there a price to pay for a much sunshine. Price from the sun can be very dangerous. The risk of skin cancer is high. So everywhere tell people to sleep, stop, slap. This very successful three-step approach was invented by Express to remain use what to use to protect our the skin.
Exactly, very well. So the phrase sleep, slop, slap. What do you think they are referring to? This three-step. Sleep, slop, slap. What do you think it means? We can see some pictures. You can see here some of them, right? Something very common to keep the risk of cancer, right? What do you think? What is sleep in this case?
Sería cúbrete.
Yeah. Well, sleep, you know, sleep es como resbalarse, right? Es un poco, por ejemplo, con los sleepers, ¿saben? Las pantuflas, en inglés se les llama sleepers. ¿Por qué? Porque tu pie resbala para ponerse el zapato. O sea, if you see the sleeper, it slips into your foot. It's not actually because you sleep but it's because your foot slips into the shoe, all right? Lo mismo se puede decir con la ropa, so it's like saying wear, es una manera, otra forma de decir ponerse ropa, right? Then slop significa embarrarse, ¿no? Entonces, embarrarse, ¿qué? De bloqueador, right? So that's why you have here the picture of slop, like slop yourself with sunscreen. And finally, slap, what do you think is this? Here we have a little of the explanation. Ok, aquí tenemos sleep on protective clothing, such as, entonces, bueno, ponerse ropa para protegerse del sol. Slap on sunscreen and slap, it refers to slap on a hat, ponerse el sombrero sol, slap. Okay, so a little bit of more, other way, did you know that you can also say Aussie es una manera de decir Australian, alguien que es de Australia. You can call them Aussie, like I wrote you on the chat. And you know, Australian English, it's interesting. It sounds like it has an interesting accent. I'm going to play for you this short video so you can see the difference between this English and other ones. Okay, I'm going to watch these short videos so you can compare these two accents.
Banana.
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 Tomato.
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 Water.
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 Coffee.
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 Okay, so there you have, right, this American on your left side, in the center, British, and Australian is this guy on the right side.
Coffee.
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 Dog.
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 Shark.
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 Zebra.
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 Vase.
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 Castle.
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 Missile.
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 Cookie.
Biscuit.
Biscuit.
Candy.
Sweets.
Lollies.
Sneakers.
Trainers.
Runners.
Bell pepper.
Pepper.
Capsicum.
This one is really fun, right? Bell pepper, el pimiento y el capsicum.
French fries.
Chips.
Hot chips.
Pants.
Trousers.
Pants.
Underwear.
Underpants.
Undies.
Sweater.
Jumper.
Jumper.
Flashlight.
Torch.
Torch.
Check.
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 Gray.
Grey.
Grey.
Tire.
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 Jewelry.
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 Aluminum.
Aluminium.
Aluminium.
We always say aluminium, not like the American.
Mustache.
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 Airplane.
Aeroplane.
Aeroplane.
Pajamas.
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 Color.
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 So, Aussie accent, Australian accent is like a British accent, porque, bueno, porque son son parte de la Commonwealth, fueron colonia británica, o creo que aún son, I'm not sure, but they are part of the Commonwealth, entonces el acento británico para ellos, aunque algunas palabras como pueden ver se parece más al americano, but that is, it's like a kind of, es como si fuera, I always say, yo siempre digo que es como si fuera un acento británico del viejo oeste. Es como si los vaqueros no fueran de Estados Unidos, sino que fueran del viejo oeste. So that would be the accent. All right, and then some sentences or some expressions that you can use in Australian, for example. Well, you will call, for example, you can say when something is very expensive, si algo es muy caro, en inglés te puedes decir exy. Exy en inglés, pero en australiano is expensive. You can see this, it's exy. Then you have the word footpath is the sidewalk. La banqueta. Then you can say, we have another expression. Well, we have keep. Keep es un nap, es una siesta. In Australian, you would say keep. Then we also have kiwi. Do you know kiwi, the animal? No solo conocen kiwi, que es la fruta.
Only fruit.
Yeah?
Like a dodo, right?
Yeah, it's a bird. It's from New Zealand. Es de Nueva Zelanda. Let me show you. It's like this animal. Yeah, that's like this. This is kiwi. It's small, actually. That's a kiwi. Ok, bueno, pues esta palabra la utilizan para describir a personas, los australianos, así le llaman a una persona de Nueva Zelanda. They call them kiwis. Okay, very well. So, what else do we have? They have another expression para decir, por ejemplo, no te preocupes, no pasa nada. For example, someone says, I'm sorry. Y tú quieres decir, tranquilo, no pasa nada. They can say, no dramas. That is another expression you can see in Australian English. No dramas is como no worries, no problem, don't worry. That's one of them. Okay, you know, something interesting is that, y no entiendo por qué, but PowerPoint. ¿Conocen PowerPoint? The software to make slides.
A lot.
Bueno, PowerPoint in Australia means this. Estos son PowerPoints. Son los, they are the electric sockets. Son los, ¿cómo decimos en español? También se dicen sockets. Enchufes, no. Sí, enchufes, ¿verdad? So these are PowerPoints. Okay, which makes sense. But it's funny, like you hear PowerPoint and you never hear this thing in English. Okay, then maybe you would like to have something for food, and then you have a senga. Okay, ¿qué es a senga? Senga es como tipo torta. It's like a kind of it has a sausage, like you can see here, like a sandwich could be. And this is a senga. Okay. Well, a woman, you can call a woman a Sheila. Mujer en australiano puede decir Sheila. Yeah. That's Sheila. You can call it like that too. Okay. What else could we say? Okay, los australianos o los americanos les dicen Yanks. Bueno, esto no es tan. A veces se les llama Yankees, ¿no? All right, so these are Yanks. What else is Australia known for? What else do you know Australia for? ¿Qué más han escuchado de Australia? Algo muy típico de Australia.
Kangaroo.
The kangaroo, yeah.
Alligators.
Yeah, correct.
Koala.
Koala. And the most dangerous animals too, right?
Or life. Although there are some dangerous creatures in Australia, most of them biting.
Sorry?
Spiders. A lot dangerous animals. Spiders. Insects.
Yeah. One of the deadliest animals, creo que los animales más mortales, más peligrosos, más venenosos, you can find them in Australia.
Or killing you is related to the dingo. But this wild dog wasn't always Australian. The earliest known dingo fossil was found in Western Australia, and this dates back to around 3,450 years ago. It's thought that dingoes first reached Australia around 8,300 years ago, and it's believed that they were brought over by a human population. Since then, they really have made Australia their home, but they're not exactly very dangerous to humans. In most cases, dingoes only go after children, and the most recent attacks were non-fatal and happened in 2021. To this day, there has only been a handful of fatal dingo attacks, and for the most part we're not on the menu and they don't view us as food. In Australia, far more people are killed by domesticated dogs than they are by dingoes, and really they're not as dangerous as you might think. There are some other relatively large land carnivores in Australia, and these come in the form of monitor lizards. The largest of the Australian monitor lizards is the Parenti, but really this creature is very unlikely to attack a human. These lizards live in the more arid areas of Australia, and they very rarely and it is in fact the southern cassowary. This bird is one of 3 species of cassowary, and it is the heaviest bird in Australia despite being shorter than
Velociraptor. It comes from Velociraptor, like it's a descendant from the Velociraptor. It's very aggressive bird.
The emu. These giant birds mostly feed on fruits on the forest floor, and for the most part they are quite peaceful creatures. Problems arise when people start feeding these birds, as these birds can become very protective of their young, and they don't need a lot of encouragement to attack. One of the things that makes the southern cassowary very dangerous are its 2 spear-like inner claws. When attacking, it will thrust these towards people, and they can easily become embedded in your abdomen. Even though these birds are potentially dangerous, attacks are still relatively rare, and there have only been a few fatalities over the years. One of the most recent fatal attacks didn't even happen in Australia, as a Florida man was killed by his pet cassowary in 2019. So even though this bird doesn't take many lives, it's best to leave it alone, and this is especially the case if they have young. Even though Australia is lacking some large land carnivores, it definitely isn't lacking smaller venomous creatures. Australia is famous for its highly venomous snakes, and there really are quite a few species. The species that is often known as the most deadly is the inland taipan, but really it's very unlikely that you will come across this snake. More than 85% of Australians live within 50 kilometers of the coast, and that's because the majority of Australia is inhospitable. Most of Australia is made up of dry deserts, and it's very hard to make a living here. In these areas is where you'll find the inland taipan, and really this snake wants nothing to do with you. They feed almost exclusively on small mammals, and they'd only bite a human in self-defense. This snake is called the deadliest snake in Australia because of its venom, as it's estimated that one bite possesses enough lethality to kill at least 100 fully grown humans. Of course, stats like these are very frightening, but there are quite a few other species that kill more people in Australia than the inland taipan. Since the year 2000, there are 4 main culprits when it comes to snakebite fatalities, and these are the coastal taipan with 3 fatalities, the western brown snake with 3 fatalities, the tiger snake with 6 fatalities, and the eastern brown snake with 12 fatalities. These 4 species are not the most venomous snakes, but they're more likely to come into contact with humans in the form of tarantulas, trapdoor spiders, and mouse spiders. All of these arachnids are potentially dangerous, but possibly the most deadly species is the Sydney funnel web. This species has a highly toxic venom that's produced in large amounts. It has very large fangs to inject this venom, and a bite would definitely ruin your day. As this species is the deadliest spider in Australia, you may assume that it kills quite a few people each year. This couldn't be any further from the truth, as there hasn't been a fatality from a Sydney funnel web bite since 1981, and this was when its antivenom was first made available. So even though many of the large spiders in Australia are frightening, it is very unlikely that they will kill you. But now we've looked at some of the most dangerous land creatures in Australia, it's time that we look towards the ocean. The waters around Australia are teeming with life, and there are quite a few marine species that can only be found around Australia. Just off the coast of Australia you will find some of the largest reefs in the world, and these reefs are very fragile and diverse ecosystems. Before we go any further, I'd just like to point out that shark attacks are very rare. There are only around 5 to 15 fatal attacks each year, but quite often a large percentage of these attacks happen off the coast of Australia. Shark attacks are mostly carried out by 3 main species, these being the bull shark, the great white shark, and the tiger shark. In Australia, the majority of attacks are carried out by great whites, and since the year 2000, bull sharks were responsible for 1 fatal attack. For 1 fatal attack, and great whites were responsible for 18. The most recent fatal shark attack in Australia happened earlier this year, but the culprit was thought to be a bull shark as it happened in a river. As I've already said, shark attacks are still relatively rare, but as it is one of the most frightening ways to go, it's understandable why so many people are scared of sharks. Not all deadly ocean creatures have to be large predators, as the waters of Australia are also home to some smaller killers. If you go snorkeling in the waters around Australia, you might be able to find some blue-ringed octopus species. For the most part, these creatures are harmless if you leave them alone, but if you accidentally step on them or you pester them, it could be the last thing you do. Blue-ringed octopuses can produce tetrodotoxin, which is the same toxin that's found in some pufferfish species. This toxin is extremely dangerous, and if a blue-ringed octopus bites you, it can certainly end your life. Fatalities from blue-ringed octopus bites are extremely rare, but there's thought to have been at least 11 over the years. Another group of marine creatures that you might want to look out for are the jellyfish, and more specifically the box jellyfish. These creatures are able to cause paralysis and cardiac arrest with their stings, and in some cases this can lead to death. Since the year 2000 there have been at least 10 confirmed fatalities, and it's important that you look out for signs. So far these creatures have proved that the waters around Australia are relatively dangerous, but there is still one ecosystem that we haven't taken a look at. Australia's freshwaters can be very rich and diverse, and they're home to some creatures that can't be found anywhere else in the world. These waters are often full of predators, and some of them are even home to one of the largest predators on this planet. There are 2 species of crocodilian that can be found in Australia. One is the mostly harmless freshwater crocodile, and the other is the highly dangerous saltwater crocodile. The Australian freshwater crocodile is mostly interested in fish, and you can tell this by its long narrow snout. This crocodile only really attacks in self-defense, or sometimes in cases of mistaken identity. The saltwater crocodile on the other hand is one of the most dangerous reptiles in the world, and is one of the few predators that sees humans directly as a food source. Although they are called saltwater crocodiles, they are mostly found in brackish waters, and if one of these predators chooses to attack you in the water, you stand little chance. These crocodilians really are apex predators, and giants can exceed lengths of 6 meters. Even though these predators are terrifying and they are more than capable of taking down a human, fatal attacks on humans are still relatively rare. On average, in Australia, saltwater crocodiles kill around 1.9 people a year, and this really is a shockingly low number. I guess if you knew this predator could potentially be in a river, you're very unlikely to swim in it, and really I wouldn't blame you. If you think there's any deadly Australian creatures that I haven't included in
deadliest Australian animals in the world. Okay. What we have here, right? The meaning of sleep, slap, slap. Sleep on some special clothing. Slap on some powerful sunscreen. And slap on a big hat. Okay, that's what you need to do. Because now it's really hot and it's going to get hotter. Yeah, ahora va a ser mucho más cálido estos días. Okay, so let's see. Finally, we have these questions I would like to ask Oscar. Oscar, would you like to visit Australia? Why or why not?
Yes, I would like.
Why?
Because
What would you like to do if you went to Australia?
to visit all the Sydney tourist places, and my daughter loves koalas, so she wants to know them.
Yeah, they're cute. Although they said they are aggressive, I'm not sure, but I think they are slow too. Yeah.
She looks a program in the TV. I don't know, in Netflix. I don't know. And it's all about a girl that take care of koalas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they came sick or bite by green ants, and they care of them. And she put their names, and that, yeah, it is good, nice.
Oh, very good. Excellent. And the next question, well, I would like to jump to Ford, number 4. Flor, how do you protect yourself from the sun? Do you use sunscreen? Do you use special clothes? You don't protect yourself from the sun? Or maybe Fernanda, how do you protect yourself from the sun? How about you, Jorge? How do you protect yourself from the sun?
Okay, well, we can use special clothes to protect our skin. We can use some sunglasses
Yeah.
for our eyes. We can use special, how do you say, solar protector?
Yeah, sunscreen.
Sunscreen.
Yeah. You know, now that I've been hanging out with my family for many days, now you can see that I look reddish. I look a bit red now because I was exposed to the sun a lot these days, and I don't really get like my skin just gets a bit dry, but I don't get like these scales. No tengo como es que se ve escarapela la piel. I don't get these scales. I just my skin gets a little bit dry. Maybe you see me that I'm a bit red now because of the sun. And yeah, I wear sunscreen, but in some places they don't let you wear a sunscreen. Like for example, some places or like cenotes, the cenotes they don't let you they don't let you apply any sunscreen because it damages the ecosystem, the fish and the water and everything. So I try to just not to be in the sun for a long time and just go and maybe be 30 minutes in the water, and then I go out. I try to be on the shade. I try to stay under the shade of a tree. Shade es como la sombra. So I try to stay under the shade to protect myself. But actually, I'm not doing a really good job. No me estoy realmente protegiendo demasiado. Okay. So guys, we're going to move on to the next unit. In this new unit, the unit 8, you can see that we are just 3 units away from finishing this level. And what are we going to learn? Well, we're going to talk about natural disasters. We are going to talk about past perfect. Vamos a aprender un nuevo tiempo que se llama el pasado perfecto. And we are going to check some vocabulary essentially related to, a natural phenomena or catastrophes. So first, we have the word, la palabra catástrofe, se escribe así, ¿no? Catastrophe. Catastrophes, el plural. Phenomenon es un fenómeno natural. Phenomena sería el plural. Phenomenon, phenomena. So we have natural phenomena and natural catastrophes. So let's see, we have a few of these. And what can you tell me about a letter A? What do you think is letter A? What are we talking about in letter A? What is that?
It seems like a tornado.
Yeah, I think it's a tornado. It's it looks like that, right? They're very common in the United States. I think in Mexico, I have never heard any news of tornadoes, right? It's something not that common in Mexico. Okay, but I think I once saw something that looked like a tornado, but it was in the sea. It was very scary. Well, let's see. The other one, what do you think is letter B, Gabriel? ¿A qué se refiere letter B? What do you think is that? Fernanda, ¿qué será letter B, the picture B? What natural disaster do you think it is?
Hurricane? No. Avalancha?
Letter B?
Ajá. Ah, no, ya pasó.
Sí,
¿De cuál me está preguntando, profe?
Sorry?
¿De cuál me está preguntando?
Letter B. Letter B. What do you think is letter B?
El tsunami.
Tsunami, exactly. Very well. I just heard about the tsunami, I think in Guerrero, like some years ago, when there was a strong earthquake and there was a tsunami too. What do you think about letter C? What is that, Flor? What do you think about letter C? Jorge, what do you think is letter C?
Letter C is an earthquake when the tectonic plates shake the skin of the earth. I say imagine, I can see the...
No, letter C, what do you think?
Oh, letter C, it's a volcano.
Volcanic eruption. Do you think we have this in Mexico? Or a possible danger in Mexico because of this?
yes, we have close to the Mexico City, the Popocatépetl.
Yeah. Yeah, that, and you know, people when they travel, you by plane, you can see the smoke coming out of the volcano. Okay, in letter D, we have an earthquake. Also, is something that happens a lot in central Mexico, in Mexico City, in state of Mexico, Oaxaca, Guerrero. You can feel these earthquakes. In this part of Mexico where I live, there are no earthquakes, but there are hurricanes, which would be, I guess, letter F. It's really, really crazy. Then we have two, what else? Okay, we have in letter G. Letter G is a landslide. A landslide is una, ¿cómo sería? Well, basically is, I don't know why I forgot the word in Spanish. So the rocks falling, also the ground is moving, right? So this is dangerous, especially when you are driving, but there are sometimes houses and they are destroyed during landslides. Ya recordé la palabra, es deslave. Un deslave. Yeah. Okay, very well. All right. That's a landslide. Then what do we have next? Is E. This is a forest fire. También es a wildfire. Un incendio. Un incendio forestal. A forest fire or a wildfire. Then we have hurricane. Which is, I said, is letter F, right? Finally, we have flood, inundación, in letter H. And then in letter I, we have the avalanche. This reminds me of this movie. I really recommend you too. I think you already watched it. La Sociedad de la Nieve. It's a really impressive one. And, you know, one of the things that happened to them was the avalanche, and they almost died because of that. Okay, guys, well, we'll continue talking about this in the next class tomorrow. And we'll check is a new grammar topic too. So hope to see you tomorrow as well. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you tomorrow.